this video we'll be talking about becoming your ideal self. What that looks like, we're going to break down the process, so stay tuned.
Hey lovelies, welcome back to the Manifestation Sisters community. My name's Leah.
My name's Tia.
Here on this channel we are helping to master your mind and manifest all of your desires. Before we jump into the video, we have been talking about our new membership which you're going to be launching soon, which is Embodied Self-Concept. And in the membership you're going to go from feeling like your worth is depending on another person, money, something outside of you, and really building an unbreakable self-concept. So if you want to sign up for that, the link is in the description box down below, and let's jump into the video. So we've just hit 2024, and like we said at the start of the video, we hope you had a lovely celebration bringing in the new year, whatever it is that you've done. And in this video we're going to be talking about becoming your ideal self, and I think it's a great way to kick off the year with the video that we've just done previously about less of and more of exercise. This is a really nice follow-up to that video. So when it comes to being ideal self, it's about you getting clear on who that version of you is going forward. Who is that woman, who is that man, who is that version of you that has what you want, whether it's in your love life, business, finances, friendships, health, or all of the above, right? So then you can start to really break down how this person thinks, feels, acts, behaves, and their habits, and really start to implement this into your day-to-day life. And this is really the key in embodying this new identity and becoming this new identity, because you're showing up every single day as that version of that ideal self.
Yeah, and I know for myself, and we see it with our clients, that if I look back on past versions of myself, it's always been the decision, it's always been the constant choice and deciding. There will be moments where you're in between, and I know a lot of you relate, where you're in between that stage of you're conscious of your old self but you're not fully integrated into the identity of the new version of yourself. And that's fine, because that's the crossroad point. It's the constant reinforcement and the conscious awareness of who you are being on a moment-to-moment basis, where you keep deciding and choosing that new version of yourself, that starts to dissipate and dissolve that old version of you. So as you keep thinking the new thoughts, as you keep saturating yourself with them new feelings, like Joe Dispenza says, conditioning your body to feel them emotions before it has happened, you put yourself in the fulfillment, the identity of the version of you that already has everything that you want. Then you start to become this person, you start to act, you start to think, you start to feel, and as a result of you changing internally, your reality starts to change externally.
Yeah, because the change comes from within first. So as we change ourselves within, the external change must follow, and that's why everyone is you pushed out. That's why your whole reality is your movie. It's reflecting you. So whatever you believe about yourself and whatever you perceive is being outpictured and reflected back to you in your reality. It's like your movie you've put in you're seeing, it's being projected out through your beliefs, your assumptions, and your, what you think and feel about yourself, and then you're getting those reflections back from the people in your life or the situations or whatever it is. So really this is about how you start to decide that new identity for yourself. You actually have the power to change that projection. You have the power to rewrite your movie and decide how you want it to be going forward.
So think to yourself, the version of myself that has what it is that I want, that specific desire. The focus is your power, like we've been saying to the theme of these videos. Based upon that specific desire, who is that version of me? How does she or he think? How does she feel? How does she act? How does she behave? What are her habits? And when you start to get clear of this, whether you're doing it in your head, whether you're doing it on a piece of paper, your laptop, your iPad, whatever, when you start to get clear, you are simultaneously putting yourself into that identity, because your mind doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. Your mind doesn't know the difference between real or what you're writing down. Everything simply is. So as you start to become conscious of, she thinks that she's abundant, she knows that she's safe to have this amount of money, she knows her worth, she thinks that she's worthy and deserving, no matter how this guy Paul shows up in her reality. If Paul doesn't text her, she still thinks she's the shit. She doesn't check social media, she doesn't go on downward spirals, she lives her life, she has fun with her life, she acts in high regard to herself, she feels abundant, she feels worthy. All these things that you're doing, as you're doing them, are tapping you into that state. All these things that you're writing down is evoking that internal state within yourself. It's putting you in the identity, the vicinity, the state of that version of you that has what it is that you want. And as you do this conscious practice, this is why we love bringing our attention, our focus to what it is that we want, rather than keep perpetuating the old story and the old thinking and feeling state that has manifested this old echo. Because you'll bring your power back to where it is, and it's in this now moment. So instead of permeating, yeah, but I've always been treated badly, yeah, but men always show up this way in my life, you're choosing different, you're deciding who you are, you're deciding your truth. And this breakdown of who you are and this identity based upon the desire that you have is your choice to keep bringing yourself back to.
Exactly. And we are a byproduct for our routines and the things that we're doing for ourselves. So when you get clear on who this ideal self is, like we said, and even thinking about their hobbies and their goals and their passions and things like this, having a life for yourself and really getting clear on that version of you, and you're intentionally starting to act like this person you want to become, and as a byproduct of that, and you're doing those things, you're being that person, so it becomes more dominant. And sometimes we start to self-sabotage and we want to slip back to old self because we're not familiar in this new identity yet. But that's why we keep showing up every day, being consistent and doing the things that that ideal version, that new self would be doing, and that starts to become our new normal habitual way of operating, and we start to feel safe in that new identity.
The reinforcement.
And
this is something that we know we keep going on about it, but we're breaking down and we're leaving no crumbs behind in our membership, because it's often the missing piece for a lot of people of, I know what it is that I want, and I know the identity that I need to step into in order to become this person. But it's like the crossroad of when you're at that, like we say, the in-between stage of you either go back to being that old version of you, like Leah spoke about, you're self-sabotaging yourself and you start thinking the old way of how you used to think instead of standing firm in this new identity. And the reason why that happens is because you haven't consciously got the reinforcement to respond differently, to choose, to decide, and have the practices, the tools and the know-how to stand firm in this new identity. And we see it so often of clients coming to us and being like, I done that tool, I done that technique, I manifested him in, but their reality goes straight back into being how they used to be because they haven't sustained it. It's the reinforcement of becoming your ideal self. That's where your power lies. And as you keep reinforcing and deciding, it doesn't have to be hard, you just have to know how to do it. That's when you start to know, I am this version, and no, 3D doesn't have power over me, and yes, he didn't text me back, but I don't think shit about myself. And you start to notice this ever-evolving process within your state and how it's starting to be stabilized in how you think, how you assume about yourself, totally separate to how people, things, circumstances are showing up.
Yeah, because you're claiming this new identity internally and you're no longer letting outside things dictate to you how you now believe. Because when you build up a solid self-concept for yourself with the things that you're doing to be this ideal self, when things happen, you're no longer going to let it spiral you because you no longer identify with it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we're looking for here. It's the shift in the new identity that becomes more automatic. So when something does come up, you're not going to dwell there, you're not going to resonate with it because it's no longer the identity that you now operate from. It's not going to be the familiar, it's going to actually be foreign to you.
It's not who
and
you
that's
are.
The sweet spot.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we're all wanting to do, and that's why we're so excited for the membership, because we're really going to be touching deep on how to embody this new version of self so it becomes an automatic way that you now operate, so you feel within your power, you're getting that beautiful treatment from your SP, you're getting the money, you're not worrying about bills, like you're feeling good within your body again, things are just flowing for you, and you actually start to feel like, yes, I'm someone life is working out magically for. And everyone wants that sweet spot, that click moment, and it always happens.
It always does happen. You've just got to put yourself in the vicinity of experience. That's what it's about when it comes down to deciding and becoming your ideal self. It's an embodiment, it's a process, it's a decision, it's a choice that you keep bringing yourself back to. And as we said at the beginning and throughout this whole video, if you want to learn exactly how to do that, a step-by-step roadmap, and get inside of our membership that's launching very soon. So excited for New Year is going to bring us and you being in our community. Thank you so much for liking, thank you so much for subscribing, thank you so much for being a part of this community, and if you made it to the end of the video, we'll see you in the next one.